Okay, hello semua. I am Jonathan Rizal, and as a follow-up to our sejarah video, I've already explained about bab satu, all about ciri-ciri negara bangsa, Kerajaan Alam Melayu, then 1.2 Kesultanan Melayu Melaka. Number 3, we talked about more in depth about the undang-undang and the government system of Kesultanan Melayu Melaka. Then finally, we gave a small recap all about the peranan, specifically on the pemerintah and rakyat, where we talked about golongan di perintah, which is your rakyat and your hambas, and your rakyat pemerintah, which includes your sultan and the pembesar. So now we're moving forward to a new thing, which is nasionalisme. So bab 2 is called kebangkitan nasionalisme. Kebangkitan means the uprising, the introduction, almost the starting of nationalism. And because this is a new term, I'm sure many of you have heard of the opposite word, patriotisme. Well, what is the difference between nationalism and patriotisme is what we will learn in this video, okay? So first, the textbook tells you there are a bunch of meanings here. Nasionalisme bermaksud, number 1, perasaan cinta yang mendalam terhadap negara dan bangsa. Okay, that's the first one. Perasaan cinta, that means you have a strong love for both your country and the people inside of it, the bangsa. Then the second one, they say semangat kebangsaan berkaitan perjuangan menentang penjajahan. Then they add a serta, which is a dan, which means like and. So we're gonna cut it off there because you can separate this into 2 points to where you can. I would say this is almost people realizing that we should have independence. So here is a light bulb to show that. Then I'm going to go through this. Semangat kebangsaan, the semangat精神, kind of the belief, the movement of the people relating to perjuangan. That means to fight for, the perjuangan to fight against the colonizer, called decolonization, penjajahan. Then the third one they give pembelaan terhadap negara dan bangsa. Pembelaan, these two are actions, so I'm going to put an A for this, A for that. The next one. So pembelaan, you can understand this as the act of protecting. You want a pemeliharaan, if you know what that means. Protecting your country terhadap negara dan bangsa. Then the fourth and final one, gerakan, the movement untuk mencapai kebebasan politik. Kebebasan politik, ekonomi dan sosial daripada siapa? Daripada penguasaan orang asing. The movement to obtain the political freedom, both political freedom, economic freedom, and like social freedom from the control of the outsiders, orang asing. Asing means like outside. So all of these 4 things, if you still don't have a good understanding, right, the word that they constantly emphasize in here is number 1, negara, your country. And what's the other one? Your bangsa. Okay, I'm going to put a B for that. Bangsa. So the whole point is that the difference between nasionalisme and patriotisme is that nationalism is focusing on both the country and the people, the idea of the country. Meanwhile, patriotism is more as in the country as a whole, relating to the government system as well. So your raja, your kings. But this one, as you can see, negara and bangsa does not mention your rulers. And we will go into this deeper when we learn about the contohs. So just to give a heads up, I can give a contoh right now, which is we're going to learn about Barat, the west side. So I'm going to talk about the Revolusi Keagungan di England, where the people there, they had a terrible king. And thus, nationalism is the movement where the people fought for the well-being of their country and the well-being of the people. Not so much the governing system, the government, which was the terrible king. You also see this later in nasionalisme di China, where dalam dynasty Manchuria, the people also were trying to fight against the terrible governing system, the terrible government system that is on their country for the sake of the country and the sake of the people. So you see that the government system is excluded when you talk about nationalism. Okay, in Chinese we can think of it as 民族精神. Alright, so it's more of the idea of the united whole of the country and the people. Okay, so that is your 4 factors. Perasaan cinta yang mendalam terhadap negara dan bangsa, dan semangat kebangsaan berkaitan perjuangan menentang penjajahan, colonization, dan pembelaan terhadap negara dan bangsa, gerakan untuk mencapai kebebasan politik, ekonomi dan sosial daripada penguasaan orang asing. Alright, now at the bottom they give you pendapat tokoh. Beberapa orang tokoh dan sejarawan telah memberikan tafsiran berkaitan dengan nasionalisme. That means to help you further understand about nationalism, they're giving you examples from different people, both leaders, different historical people. So let's check them out, shall we? The one thing we have to state is that idea nasionalisme tidak sama. It's not the same antara negara dengan zaman, which is the current country. The way we think of nationalism now might be different kerana idea tersebut berkait rapat is closely related to pengalaman sejarah dan pengaruh sekeliling seperti keturunan, which is like your background, then agama, I was going to say your race, no. Your religion, bahasa, your language, adat resam, the traditions you practice. Meaning that nationalism, we will see a bunch of tokohs here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 tokohs, they have different opinions about nationalism, but overall they can be summed up into the 4 factors we just gave. Okay? So let's go through this one by one. Personally, I think the 4 facts we gave are very important. Please remember those. Now let's talk over here. We're going to introduce 2 people from the West. So here, the West Barat. So who are they? We have, I'm going to draw a face here, okay? Two gentlemen. Here are some hands. Hans Kohn, and he believes that nasionalisme iaitu gerakan meletakkan kesetiaan hanya kepada negara dan bangsa. Very short and simple man. We like this guy, he keeps it short. Nationalism refers to the movement where you put your loyalty into only hanya your country. You should write that again. Negara and bangsa. You put it only into your country and the people. It's a B. Okay. Then what about the other guy? Professor William R. Roth. To a fun fact about this man, he has lived in Tanah Melayu during the penjajahan British, so he does know a bit more about the Melayus than compared to Hans Kohn. So he says, kebangkitan nasionalisme Melayu lebih kepada is more towards kesedaran, that means the awareness, dan ketegasan. Tegasan means you have your own firm will. Pada dekad terakhir sebelum Perang Dunia Kedua. Hal ini disebabkan ancaman terhadap hak kepentingan orang Melayu serta faktor ekonomi. Nasionalisme juga timbul akibat kebimbangan masyarakat terhadap sekularisme dan imperialisme barat yang melanda tanah Melayu. Okay, a lot of facts. He had 3 important things he wanted to talk about. 2, 3. So the first thing he wanted to state was, I'm going to draw numbers here. Kebangkitan, the uprising, the occurrence of the Malay nationalism, which is talking about Tanah Melayu. Malay nationalism is more towards the awareness and ketegasan diri. They felt more keyakinan diri almost. Don't change the word, but ketegasan means like ketegasan diri. They had their own firm will, where during the time period of the ending terakhir Perang Dunia Kedua. So the first fact is talking about when it occurred. The second fact, he says, hal ini disebabkan why? Ancaman, attack, an attack towards the importance of the Malay people. This is the people. Okay? Serta faktor ekonomi. After World War II ended, which you must know is when Japan left, there were 2 weeks. We will learn this further in chapter 3. 2 weeks where the country was not colonized by anyone. It was in chaos, absolute chaos. And one thing that suffered greatly, aside from the people, hak kepentingan orang Melayu. Is it orang Melayu? Yes. It is also the economy. The economy greatly suffered from this. So moving on to the third one, nasionalisme akibat kebimbangan, closely related to this fact. Kebimbangan. They were afraid. They were worried. The paranoia, not paranoia. The fear, there you go. The fear towards secularism, which is ilmu keduniaan, the knowledge of, there's a word secular, towards, worldwide information. That imperialism barat, the imperialism, the colonization of the Westerners towards Tanah Melayu has left Tanah Melayu behind. Melanda, if you can understand it by, sorry, if I confuse it with a different word, maafkan saya. Melanda di sini is referencing to how after World War II ended, the people became more awake, kesedaran dan ketegasan diri, how the people from the colonization of the Westerners, orang Barat, has shown that they are entering our country by force. Melanda, that's the word. Melanda Tanah Melayu. And these are the two lads from the Barat side. So Hans Kahn and Professor William R. Roth. You will most likely see them bahagian B. I don't expect them to come out for bahagian C. But again, just understand those two facts, okay? So we've talked about Barat. Now we need to talk about more locals, okay? These are local people. So maybe I'll draw the Malaysian flag to tell you that. The Malaysian flag is missing a lot of colors, but you get the idea. This is the flag. First man, Dato' On Jafar. He is a Malay guy and he's the first guy to actually speak up on this. So this is him. Tada. So he had 3 facts. Kita hendak menzahirkan. Menzahirkan means to show, 表示, bangsa yang lebih tegap dan kuat. Nationalism is when we need to show that our people are more kuat. So here is him with his muscles, whoa, more kuat. Boleh berdiri di atas tapak kaki kita sendiri so that we can stand on our own ground. This is his ground. Mengambil tempat kita sebenar di sisi bangsa-bangsa lain yang tegap dan bersatu. This man is referencing one word a lot, tegap. If you see this word, think of him. What's his name? Dato' Un Jafar. He thinks that we have to stand on our own land, berdiri di atas tapak kaki kita, stand on our own foots kita sendiri dan mengambil tempat kita yang sebenar. Take back our rightful place di sisi bangsa-bangsa lain yang tegap dan bersatu, next to the other races. So not just Malay people, but the other races that were like, the Chinese, the Indians, Kadazan, Dusun, all those other races. So the next man we can talk about. Oh, he's a doctor. This is also a Malay man. Boing, boing. Okay, Dr. Burhanuddin Al-Hilmi. So he has 3 facts, also a little bit longer. So one thing you can know about him, he's actually a teacher. I'm gonna give him glasses for that. Sure. He's a teacher and he believes, Dr. Burhanuddin Al-Hilmi believes that the nationalism is perjuangan menentang penjajahan. It is the fight, the fight to go against colonization dengan persatuan dan perpaduan yang kuat. These two should be best friends because they're talking about things being kuat. But he's a teacher, so he's talking about how nationalism is when we have the perjuangan untuk menentang penjajahan dengan persatuan, to be united, and perpaduan, the same thing, united and united. Alright, to be one, that is strong, iaitu national fronts. Okay, segala tenaga menentang penjajahan untuk mencapai kemerdekaan. All of the energy used to go against the, I didn't draw my bar, to go against, alright, the penjajahan is to mencapai, to get, okay, to achieve kemerdekaan, to achieve their freedom. Dengan berpegang pada tata tertib dan adat sopan, but doing it respectfully, sopan, respectfully. Doing it respectfully, tata tertib dan adat sopan, bangsa Melayu dan agama Islam. So still, like we said, right, that we said that nationalism is affected, how people think of it, by agama. So this is one example of Dr. Burhanuddin Al-Hilmi. He was very related about, Islam in the sense that he thought that nationalism should have been something sopan, like gentlemen do this. Okay, that is your key word here. So why does he mention sopan? If you remember your Form 3 punya sejarah, you will know that we had leaders going against the British, but they were very aggressive about it, as in they fought. There wasn't a clear strategy. It was more like we're gonna go outright, and they never won because number one, it is a very chaotic front, and just technologically wise, negara kita tanah Melayu tidak dapat menentang. We cannot beat. We cannot succeed in defeating countries like British who are much more technology advanced than us. So then we move on to the next, Dr. R. Suntaralingam, who is an Indian person. So I'm going to get these two out so we can, dissect everything one by one. Still under the Malaysian category, we have Dr. R. Sundaralingam. Here's him. He is wearing glasses. Maybe I should give him bigger glasses then. Tada! So, he believes that nationalism merupakan fenomena sejagat. It is a worldwide occurrence, which is true. It is a worldwide occurrence. It happened everywhere. Yang mengiktiraf hak setiap bangsa, that recognizes the hak is what again? Hak meaning the needs, the will of every bangsa, every person di dunia dalam menubuhkan negara. So again, he also had three ideas. That was the first one. It's a phenomena sejagat, a worldwide thing. Tada! This is my world, the Earth, according to me. His second idea and his third idea, dan memindahkan kedaulatan kepada negara. That means you move the power, the 权力, the willpower, the responsibility, the power to the people. We already talked about this in 1.2 in the previous video, where kedaulatan means kuasa tertinggi. It is lambang. It is the way we show. It is the kuasa tertinggi pemerintah. And here we're putting all of that to the rakyat. So here's the rakyat. Remember, rakyats, they hold hands because they're united. Serta and menuntut, that means to 要求, to take back, to want kesetiaan ulung individu kepada negara bangsa itu. So again, we're always talking about kesetiaan, right? Setia only towards your negara, and that is everything from Dr. R. Suntarlingam. It's fenomena sejagat as your keyword here. Then the rakyat have the kedaulatan, memindahkan kedaulatan kepada rakyat. Then finally, serta menuntut, 要求, to get back the kesetiaan ulung individu kepada negara bangsa itu, to your negara bangsa. Alright. And then we move on to the next person. Oh, he's actually also Malay. I guess I should put him in the Malay gang, shouldn't I? Whatever. It's okay. The next guy we have Professor Dato Zainal Abidin Abdul Wahid. What a long name. He also wears glasses. Why does everyone wear glasses? This time I'm giving him hair. Okay. Professor Dato Zainal Abidin Abdul Wahid. What did he do? He believes that nationalism Melayu wujud sejak zaman Kesultanan Melayu Melaka. Hey, we learned about this, right? KMM. Kesultanan Melayu Melaka is his first point. He thinks that nationalism happened way before the current modern day. It happened all the way back in Malacca times. What else? He thinks that his pendapat ialah merujuk kepada kesetiaan kepada raja. Okay, this is where he sets him off a little bit different, because his kesetiaan is going back to the king. Okay, so I can tell you this is emphasizing that everyone has a different opinion on idea nationalism. For Professor Dato Zainal Abidin Abdul Wahid, he thinks that nationalism merujuk kepada kesetiaan kepada raja. Then finally, going back to orang Melayu berpegang pada faham kebangsaan bersifat ketanah Melayuan. He means that the Malay people berpegang kepada, have to hold on to the understanding that the kebangsaan bersifat ketanah Melayuan. The idea of this tanah Melayu, okay? He is definitely more focused towards the Melayu aspect, so you can remember him in that way. His keyword is mostly Melayu. Not in a racist way, by the way. You have to remember that around this time, the people who were really considered citizens of Tanah Melayu were the Malay people. Like your Indians, your Chinese, they were mostly here for business, and in the sense that they still wanted to go back to their home country, which they did not view as Tanah Melayu. So we're going to our final guy. This is a Chinese man, Professor Emeritus Tan Sri Dr. Khoo K. Kim. You have seen this man before in Form 1 or Form 1 or Form 2? I think Form 2, yes. Form 2, Khoo K. Kim has talked about Alam Melayu. Here he is to tell you about nationalism. And there's 2 points. Dalam konteks Melayu sebelum merdeka, nasionalisme merujuk kepada perjuangan orang Melayu. Another emphasis on orang Melayu is the perjuangan. I'm not writing the full word. Perjuangan orang Melayu. Okay? He's talking about this context Melayu sebelum merdeka. Dan bagi mendapatkan kembali kedudukan unggul negara sendiri, to take back their rightful place as a superior, as a prime country, as their own superior country. And that is the summary for 2.1. We've discussed all of the maksud. We've discussed the maksud, which are 4. Perasaan cinta yang mendalam terhadap negara dan bangsa. Then the next one, semangat kebangsaan berkaitan perjuangan menentang penjajahan. Pembelaan, which means to protect terhadap negara dan bangsa. And finally, gerakan, the movement untuk mencapai kebebasan politik, ekonomi, sosial daripada siapa? Penguasaan orang asing, outsiders. So, this is nationalism. But now that we've understood what nationalism, the concept is, you should be very familiar by now. It's always going back to your negara and your bangsa. Now, let's talk about some countries. So, let's give a little quiz, shall we? 2.2. Where do you think nationalism first started? What do you think? What country, what place, what area? Well, it should come to no surprise to anyone watching this that nationalism actually started all the way in the West, which is why we often associate the Westerners to be, people who have the most, what do we call it? People who are the most modern in a sense. The Westerners are like, oh, they're the weird, quirky ones, because they were often the people who developed first. They were the ones who revolutionized a lot of things. So, this is the Barat symbol. Let's go. We're going to talk about 3 countries, but before that, we can first jelaskan idea nasionalisme di Barat. So, I'm going to write here. Oh, I shouldn't have rubbed that off, right? Nationalism. Okay. But for the 3 countries we're talking about, it is the British, or do we call them British here? Okay, they are the British, but we call them England in this case. So, England, Perancis, and your America. Okay, ding, ding, ding. But first, before we talk about them, they can be sorted down to 2 different ways that they happened. Number 1, perjuangan memperoleh kemerdekaan. It was to get their independence. Meanwhile, the second one was to menentang pemerintahan sistem beraja. Here's your king. Sistem beraja ataupun anti-raja. What are the contohs we can give? Kemerdekaan was freedom, right? We can give this to America. Meanwhile, for the other 2, they belong to England and Perancis. Okay. Oh, so that means that you can actually kind of tell nowadays the countries, example, England still has a royal system. They were going against the king. But for places like America, they never had a monarchy system. Instead, they were colonized by the English. So they were actually fighting for their independence. Okay? That's a different. So, perjuangan memperoleh kemerdekaan daripada penjajahan from their colonizers seperti Revolusi Amerika ataupun penentang terhadap pemerintahan beraja ataupun anti-raja. Why? Why were they going anti the king? Well, it was because menjadi the anti-raja, the sistem pemerintahan beraja ataupun sistem pemerintahan beraja, the monarchy system, has become menjadi simbol penindasan. Simbol penindasan means you are stopping, you are the resistance dan menggugat hak that you menggugat. I'm pretty sure we explained about this in the previous video. Menggugat, like you interrupt, you destroy the let's say menggugat hak dan kebebasan rakyat, the rightful will and the freedom of the people. Contohnya revolusi Perancis dan revolusi keagungan di England. Okay, so let's start with England first, because going by chronological order, England starts first. So let's go. Ding 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 ding. Let's make a guess, shall we? I think I reference England a lot because they're a lot fun to talk about. Our colonizers, ma. So let's start. Mengapakah dikenali revolusi keagungan? This is a unique name, right? Revolusi keagungan. If you don't know what keagungan means, I mean, you should know, right? We call our agung yang dipertuan. Agung means glorious. The glorious revolution. What revolution is glorious, you might be thinking? By the way, if you want to know the date first, this is in 1688. It's okay if you don't remember the date. It's not that important. There's so many dates to remember. Okay, so I'm going to rub this off. Don't remember that. Revolusi Keagungan. Why was it glorious? Well, it was because kerana peralihan kuasa. That means the act of changing your government system, moving the power in the kingdom, berlaku secara aman. It happened peacefully, tanpa pertumpahan darah. That means without any kind of blood spill, any bloodshed. Understand? Yep, without any kind of bloodshed. So you might be thinking, how? Because most revolutions happen through war. So let's go on to how Revolusi Keagungan happened. It all starts like this. Why were the people mad? If you have a revolution, someone's pissed off. In this case, who PMO, right? Siapa PMO? There's this guy. He's a king. Let's talk about him, shall we? So, why did it first happen? Revolusi ini tercetus berikutan pemerintahan Raja James Kedua. Do I have to write his name down? Respectfully, I will not use a red pen to write his name. James Kedua. Raja James Kedua, okay? Roman. Tada. Raja James Kedua. Why? Because during his lead, Raja James Kedua membelakangkan. He kind of went behind. He just ignored his parliament. Parliament is the system that works with the king to help create rules. Semasa mengubah undang-undang while setting up new rules. Oh shit. The king, pemerintahan Raja James Kedua, membelakangkan. It's like, my parliament, screw them, man. And thus, what happened was, well, the penentang ahli parlimen terhadap pemerintahan raja berkuasa mutlak. The people part of the parliament, ahli parliament, were definitely pissed off because their input is very valuable, and the king just went, no. So, what did they do? They started attacking the idea of pemerintahan raja berkuasa mutlak. This word mutlak, we talked about it before. Mutlak means the king has 100% power. So because the king could do whatever he wants, whatever the king wants, well, the people, the ahli parliament here, they had no choice. They couldn't fight back. They were very, very sad. So after being sad, they were pissed off. Now, what did they do? Well, they decided to fight, menentang terhadap pemerintahan berkuasa mutlak, 100% power. How? You see, the people can fight, right? But there is a special character in play of this revolusi. That's right, Raja James punya sister. Oh my days, his sister dengan sokongan Mary Kedua. Where do I draw her? Mary Kedua. This girl boss. Let's give her some hair to show she's a woman. Mary Kedua. I have no place to write her name. And her husband, Raja William of Orange. From Holland, from the Netherlands, dari Belanda. So let's talk about this, shall we? This whole entire act of the parliament being mad at, 100% power mutlak. Pemerintahan Raja mutlak. Not happy about this. What was that whole revolution about? Well, the parliament ingin menegakkan, they wanted to implement, wanted to show kedaulatan kuasa terbesar tertinggi parlimen dan hak asasi rakyat. They wanted to show how important it was to emphasize on the parliament and the people, hak asasi rakyat, the basic necessities of the people. So, what happened? Was this revolution successful? Absolutely. So, what were the things that were achieved? First of all, Raja James menyadari sokongan berkurang. He realized, chat, the people supporting me? Whoa, this is like nobody. It's like my grandma. Actually, no, his grandma probably dead. It's actually like my neighbor. That's the only guy who's supporting me in this revolution. So, realizing this, he has a big brain. Instead of being stubborn, he was like, no, I have to get the freak out of here. He ran. My guy left all the way to France. Baranchis. Okay, whatever, Baranchis. Melarikan Diri. He just ran. Getting out of here. Thus, he's out of the picture. Bye-bye. So without Raja James in the picture, who was coming into power? Mary kedua dan suaminya William of Orange dari Belanda. So the England, did I draw England? Oh, I didn't draw England. England diperintah oleh Mary kedua dan William of Orange. Thus, during her rule, konsep kedaulatan parlimen dan sistem beraja berperlembagaan dimantapkan. Okay, that was a lot of complicated words. Let's dissect them, shall we? During her rule, Mary's rule, the concept of kedaulatan, we talked about this, kuasa tertinggi, right? Remember, the people supporting her were parliament people, so she wanted to ensure their happiness. What did she do? Well, concept kedaulatan parlimen, that means the kuasa terbesar is in the hands of the parliament, and the system Raja berperlembagaan dimantapkan, which is the Raja berperlembagaan is the constitution, where, let's say this is the rules, this is my symbol for undang-undang. Okay, undang-undang has to be obeyed by both the royal, the leader, the king, no, in this case the queen, and the people. Alright, that means, what does it mean? It's not Raja Pemerintahan mutlak. It's not 100% power in the royals, rather the 100% power in the constitution over here, the law set over here. That means there are things that the royals cannot do. So, the Bill of Rights digubah, it was created untuk memberikan keutamaan to emphasize on the parliament dengan mengubah undang-undang dan hak mengutip cukai. Okay, so the Bill of Rights is our quote-unquote constitution. This is our Bill of Rights. Then, what else happened? During this, they put this on the side, pemikiran John Locke. Who's John Locke? He was a philosopher, ahli falsafah English. And after all of this went down, this man decided, I have some thoughts about this. And, oh my days, what happened to my whiteboard? Okay. And he decided, hey, I have some opinions and thoughts because I'm a philosopher. So what did John Locke think about this? We need an intermission break from this. Okay, what did he think? Well, he wrote a whole book. Karya Two Treatises of Government dihasilkan oleh John Locke. Here's him. This is him. He has gorgeous hair in that picture. Here we go. John Locke. And in his book, what did he emphasize? Mempopularkan prinsip Raja berperlembagaan, which is he popularized the idea of the constitution. Menolak Raja berkuasa mutlak. Went against, menolak, fatui, pull against from the idea of a king having 100% power. Raja berkuasa mutlak. Dan menegaskan, he emphasized bahawa kerajaan, a kingdom, patut diasaskan, has to be built, has to be founded dengan persetujuan with the agreement of the pemerintah, of the crown, the pemerintah, the leaders, and the rakyat. There you go, they're holding hands, the rakyat. There has to be an agreement between these two people for a kingdom to be found. And then he said, any laws, undang-undang digubah bagi memenuhi hak asasi manusia. Hear this one? Bagi memenuhi hak asasi manusia. To fulfill the basic necessities of humans, manusia. Now that is everything about Revolusi Keagungan. It was all about going against the king, and we were destroying the system of Raja berkuasa mutlak. Okay? And there's one thing they emphasize here. I'm going to put this at the side. Hak asasi manusia, right? This is manusia calling to me. I'll put an M here. Manusia. Okay. Remember this. Because now we're going to talk about a country under the colonization of England. Right. So let's see. How well did they apply this whole idea that, hak asasi manusia, human rights? Not well. Let's see. For Revolusi America. What was it for? Menentang penjajahan British. So they were the unique ones because Perancis was still going against the king. Nationalism America, I'm just going to put here, Revolusi America, Revolusi America was all about going against the British. Why so? What happened? What caused the people to be PMO'd? Why were they mad? Well, British tidak melindungi hak penduduk Amerika. We use penduduk because they were citizens, okay? They're not technically rakyats yet. So, British tidak melindungi hak. Hey, didn't we talk about this? Hak asasi manusia. Funny, right? This thing only applies to my country. When I colonize someone else, did I ever say this? No, I didn't. Okay? So, the people were pissed. The British, this is the British, did not menjaminkan the importance, the hak of the people, of the penduduk, the citizens of America. Penduduk Amerika menentang akta memungut cukai. The British, they love one thing. Money. Actually, who doesn't love money? And they were snatching money out of these people's pockets through the cukai. It's my glorious way of writing cukai. How? What can we give contohs? What were the aktas? There was the akta teh, akta gula, akta setem, akta pelayaran, and more. These are only the 4 examples the textbook gives you. Ridiculous. People are going poor from paying these dumb taxes. And the people were also pissed for one more reason. So the first reason is you did not, here's an angry face for you. No hak, that's the first one. Number 2, the cukai, the akta cukai. Number 3, tiada wakil dalam Parlimen British. Hey, didn't we have a whole thing about the Parliament? The British do not learn from their own countries. They don't apply that to people they colonize. See, in England, they might have been talking about, the Parliament is important. Then the Americans are like, yeah, there's no American representative in your Parliament. The freak, bro. And they started the slogan, tiada cukai tanpa perwakilan. So these two are very closely related. They were like, you're putting so many taxes on us. And because there is no representative from the Americans, from America, to talk about this, to talk about how ridiculous these cukais, these aktas are, they're pissed. So they wujudkan slogan, tiada cukai tanpa perwakilan. We're not paying any taxes until we get representation. So what happened then? These were the triggering issues that caused it, right? So we must talk about what were the actions taken by the Americans. Well, first we must introduce some people, shall we? Pemimpin, a leader, menubuhkan Congress, created a Congress, which is like a meeting, essentially the Congress, yang diketuai oleh George Washington. Let's give him a hat. He looks like a farmer now. Oops. George Washington. Now, George Washington mengisytiharkan, through this Congress of his, mengisytiharkan perang. Here's a gun. Very big gun, actually. Perang terhadap British. This is the British people. British. Okay. Mengisytiharkan perang terhadap British. Why? Untuk memperjuangkan kemerdekaan Amerika. And Congress ini meluluskan perisytiharan kemerdekaan Amerika. The Congress agreed. They were like, okay, this pass. The perisytiharan, the Declaration of Independence, Declaration of America's Independence. Alright. Yang ditulis oleh siapa? Who wrote this? Thomas Jefferson. If you know Hamilton, this is pretty fun. I'll be honest to you. Mr. Jefferson. So, anyways, then what was the fourth thing that happened? Perishtihara, which is, you know what Thomas Jefferson wrote, Perishtihara Kemerdekaan Amerika, menegaskan, it emphasizes on hak penduduk. Hak, penduduk. Remember that for America, we used the word penduduk because they were citizens. It wasn't like every state. There were only 13 states of America that were under the English rule. Okay, so menegaskan hak penduduk, membentuk kerajaan baharu. The people have the right, the citizens have the right to create their own kingdom, their own government system. If the government system before, kerajaan tidak menjamin hak kehidupan, kebebasan, dan kebahagiaan rakyat. 3 case. If the government is the current government system or the kingdom cannot protect the people, cannot menjamin the people's their rightful will to live, sure. Hak kehidupan, kebebasan, their freedom, and their happiness of the people, the rakyat. So, you know, see some irony over here. Now, did they win? Absolutely. This was one where they did have war. If you knew Hamilton, you will know there was a whole war against the British. So, let me just get this off. So what were the things that they successfully claimed? Let's ask the question, shall we? Is America still part of Britain? Absolutely not. They're their own country, so of course they succeeded. The first thing that happened was the British were like, okay, bro, take back your country. Mengakui. They recognized kemerdekaan Amerika. They were like, fine, have your independence. You're not worth the trouble. Dan 13 dan 13 buah tanah jajahan digabungkan, and the land that was colonized was combined to form a new country called Amerika Syarikat, the United States of America. That's where the name comes from. And the people decided they were not, follow all this monarchy bullcrap. They were going to memperkenalkan, introduce sistem pemerintahan demokrasi, where the people, a democratic system, where the people were given the keutamaan. And that is all about Revolusi Amerika, all about fighting against the British. Why? Because the British tidak melindungi hak penduduk. Why? Because they were given a bunch of taxes. And the taxes were worse than no one could speak up about the taxes. Why? Because there was no wakil in their parliament, in their government system. So it was extra bullcrap for them. Now, we're moving on to the final country here. The French. Baranchis. If I knew how to sing any French song, I would. But I don't. Except for that one arcane one. Actually, I don't even know lyrics for that. Okay, wrong mode. Sorry. Revolusi Baranchis. Let's talk about it. I think they are kind of shorter. I mean, it looks longer, but what was the reason? Again, it's always because someone is PMO. Someone had PMO, right? So, you have to first talk about the idea nationalism, right? The idea. Who did it come from? I have 2 last to introduce you to. One more important than the other in your textbook. So, the first one, the idea to memperjuangkan kebebasan, persamaan, dan persaudaraan oleh golongan pemikir Perancis by the thinkers, by the philosophers, the intelligent people of France, which were Jean-Jacques Rousseau and Voltaire. These two, John is probably more important, okay? Because we mentioned him later. So, that is the first point, memperjuangkan kebebasan, persamaan, and persaudaraan. To have freedom, to be equal, and to be like the concept being one family. So still equality in a sense. Why were they doing this? They were going to fight against, remember, they're fighting against the monarchy system. Menentang pemerintahan autocratic. Autocratic is related to the word mutlak, but don't confuse them, right? You cannot use them interchangeably in your textbook. So autocratic has to be used for the branches. autocracy where the king has 100% control. Raja Louis ke-15 ng golongan bangsawan. Golongan bangsawan is the people, working besides the king. These people, they were like, hey, we need to be equal. The king and your very, very corrupt leaders. The king's probably corrupt too. How so? We have two pieces of information they give us. Number one, mereka golongan ini memonopoli pelbagai keistimewaan. They were monopolizing all of the some special needs, Sebaliknya, rakyat terbeban dengan pelbagai cukai. By monopolizing a lot of things, it caused the people, the rakyat, to suffer. And we all talk about nationalism as about the rakyat, right? Absolutely not. It's a no-go. So, by Voltaire, I need to talk about Rousseau real quick. Jean-Jacques Rousseau, what did he do? Well, he menulis, beliau menulis the social contract. Can I draw that? It's not actually a contract, but I'm gonna make it look like a contract. Perjanjian, he's a feather. The social contract. Yang menyatakan keunggulan suara rakyat. Just how great the superiority of the people's voice. Rakyat punya suara, their voices. Here's the rakyat. Remember, they hold hands. Okay. And this is where they talk about how keunggulan suara rakyat bagi menjamin kesejahteraan masyarakat, to ensure the prosperity and the harmony of the society. And where suara rakyat digelar sebagai hasrat umum. Hasrat means your dream, your desire, the goal. Umum is the general. So the general goal is the people's voices, what the people think. Dan merupakan kata sepakat golongan mempunyai kesedaraan. Meaning that this was kind of like almost like a very key point, a key word for the people golongan yang mempunyai kesedaraan, that they had the awareness that we needed to change. So unless you understood this concept, you probably didn't get what suara rakyat business. I think the king is the best. Okay? Then, moving on. Kedaulatan suara rakyat lebih tinggi daripada institusi raja dan birokrasi. The social contract written by him, Jean-Jacques Rousseau, states that the people's voices are much more important. They have kuasa tertinggi, kedaulatan dan kuasa tertinggi daripada institusi raja, by the institution of the king or the bureaucracy. For the bureaucrats, the bangsawans, okay? So, what did they do? This is what started everything, right? It always starts with some kind of writing. Then, it led to an attack. So, what did these people do? Ding, 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 ding. Right, they riled up. Here's an angry period. Attack! What did they do? Mereka menggempo penjara Bastille. They surrounded and they attacked the prison of Bastille dan membebaskan tahanan politik, and they let go of the people who were politic defenders. That means people who previously were jailed for their politic beliefs. They were like, hey, we're gonna set you, come on, set me free. Yeah, they're gonna set them free. And what did they do? At the same time of letting their tahanan politik out of jail, membebaskan, they also kicked someone out. Tuifan, they overthrew, menggulingkan Raja Louis ke-15, this corrupt king, out. So, what happened then? Since we talked about how in the England, Revolusi Keagungan, hello, can you not do that? Revolusi Keagungan, when Raja James left, who was in charge? His sister and her husband, Mary Kedua and suaminya, William of Orange. But over here, we don't have someone who can take the place of Raja Louis ke-15. So, what happened was, the people decided to form the Republic. The Republic of Perancis. Munculnya Republik Perancis. Dan berakhir sistem pemerintahan beraja di Perancis. So their revolution ended up with the whole tetek. No more monarchy, bullcrap. We believe in the suara rakyat, the hasrat umum. And that is all for branches. So let's give a small conclusion, right? Because that's the end of 2.2 and 2.1. At the end of these three Westerner countries, the only country that still has their monarchy system is England. Meanwhile, countries like Brazil, which had a monarchy system, are gone. They are now a Republic of France. Meanwhile, for countries like the United States, they went for a whole democratic way of ruling. And did you know who their first president was? George Washington. Yes, the guy who was the Godot for the Congress and started the whole war. So that's it for today. Hope you learned a lot about nationalism. I will see you for 2.3. Yeah, I will see you for 2.3 Nationalism, the Asia. Bye bye.